On today's episode of WatchJRGo, Eric and I are back with his sister's Equinox, and you guys know we spent a lot of time troubleshooting this out on the side of the road in the first video. And what we found is this thing is in bad shape. What is going on, guys? I'm WatchJRGo, and today we are here with this 2019 Chevy Equinox with the 1.5 liter turbo 4-cylinder in it. And since then, we've learned that it is a very common failure for the reluctor on the exhaust camshaft to spin, and when it does that, the engine can no longer run because it's picking up a completely wrong timing feedback from the exhaust cam. And a lot of times that reluctor, which is right under this sensor here, gets messed up because this vacuum pump right here breaks a lug and then it gets jammed in there and it spins that ring on this camshaft. So the first thing I want to try today is unlock this exhaust sensor. I know we did try this already, and try to start it again, because last time we pulled both sensors. This time we're only going to pull the exhaust cam and see if you can make it start. If this works, I think we've pretty much narrowed our diagnosis all the way down. So, I don't think we ever tried just unplugging the one sensor. We tried both. I hear something. Well, it sure tries. You can hear it popping back through the intake there. So, we know that it's trying to run, but unfortunately, I just don't think it's going to. So what we need to do today is tear this engine apart, starting with probably the vacuum pump, and then we got to get the cam cover off, and we need to check this reluctor's position in regards to the marking on the camshaft. You guys remember when it was easy to take valve covers off? It was just like 16 bolts. Now it's like 598 bolts because you got to tear the DI system down. Well, we're gonna do just that. Let's jump straight into the time lapse while we start tearing all of this fun stuff apart. We've got quite a bit to do here, including coils, DI, all these lines, all these sensors, and the vacuum pump, and then we'll be able to see the answer to our question. Well, we're about halfway to getting the valve cover off, but we're at the part where we're going to find out how damaged this engine is. So we've got the two bolts out of the vacuum pump. It's got two 13s down on the bottom of it. And now we're going to come in here. Oh, does it have more? Because that should have just come off of there. Is there like a hidden bolt? Interesting. It kind of seems like there's one more. Oh, there it is. Way down there. Wow. Wow, so there's one more bolt that's buried almost all the way down to the transmission. You gotta go deep for that third one. I didn't know how they'd have something mounted with only 2 bolts, and they don't, because it's just not something you do. Gotta have 3 bolts minimum. All right, so now we're going deep. It sure seems like this is gonna get the vacuum pump off, but as soon as we get this off, we're gonna know just how much damage we have inside the engine. So if the lugs are damaged, we're in trouble. We have found a lot of cool things like oil blow-by in the turbo system, just a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit. And of course a bunch of oil up here around the boost pipe that we pulled off. We had to lift the car up to get the boost pipe. Kept feeling like I was getting oil on my hands, but these bolts are perfectly clean. So now I've got 3 bolts out of the vacuum pump. Tell me there's no more. I don't think there is. Come on. There can't be another one. There's just no place to put one more bolt. There we go. It sounds like it came loose.
Well, you broke it off there, so it's loose now.
I don't understand what's going on here.
It's a good thing it wasn't running before. It wasn't running now.
It's never gonna run again. It's not my car.
Guess we're calling the Chevy dealership.
Hey, can you guys give us one of those engines?
We just need 4 cylinders this thing.
This thing has one gigantic cover, or O-ring that holds it in. Okay, come on. Ah, I see, there's like an oil pump attached to it too. Or the vacuum pump gets oiled. We're gonna have a lot of cleaning to do there. Yeah. Sure doesn't look like anything's broke off there, does there?
No.
Nasty looking oil, isn't it?
Yeah. The filter's still kind of clean there.
Yeah, the filter does look fine. I don't know. I don't see broken off tabs. I thought there was a plastic drive that interfaced with this thing. And maybe there is. Maybe we just need to put the camera down in there. So I'm gonna put these bolts in backwards so we can keep track of them. And let's hop in here with the camera and take a look inside the vacuum pump drive. Okay, you can see we've got engine, so let's go in. I don't see any problems in here. This looks excellent. What would have caused, oh, that's the reluctor right there. You guys are staring right at the reluctor, that brown ring. So I guess we got to pull the whole valve cover off so we can see if that thing spun. Watch it be crank position after we did all this work. If it was crank position though, we should have gotten a code for crank position. The ECU is smarter than that. Guys, we started getting deeper in this thing. We checked the oil obviously before, we didn't see any problems, but show them the intake here. We have a head gasket looking emulsified coolant oil mix at the intake to the turbo. This makes no sense. We just pulled the BBT actuator and we have a milky solution there. That seems very bad. Nothing about this is looking good. And we also found it. There's the charge pipe into the intake, also full of that orange milky goo. You guys won't believe what we went through to get this valve cover off. It is a chore. Once you've got all the solenoids out, all the DI stuff out, all the connectors unhooked, you can't disconnect these PCV lines except for that one. That one has a quick disconnect for a fuel line, but they made the radius so small that you can't get it off, which is hilarious. So you can pull that one out of the hose. You can't remove this one at all. These have special one-time use fasteners that they drive in and then they twist off, so you can't get them out. But we got it off. So Eric, do the honors. You're gonna have to come up and out because we left the turbo coolant lines on. So it's gonna have to come up and, oh, you know what? I don't know if that's gonna work because of the DI line. Tons of work though. This is not a fun valve cover job at all. We're probably an hour and a half in or something like that. Just because you have to lift the car, we had to pull the under trays to get the boost pipe out, then you have to come back on top and remove all that stuff, and it's just work and work and work. And then the valve cover was RTV'd down, so we were having no luck getting it to come free. Just to be sure here, guys, let's do a little, this is great. This oil actually, we thought the oil didn't look amazing the first time we checked it.
Looks all right.
See, it is like, just a little milky-ish, right? Yeah. But it doesn't look like a head gasket at all. That's the problem here. So we figured we'd go ahead and drain the oil down. We're gonna change the oil, put everything back together. We'll take you guys back up top and show you this, but we don't think it's out of time. We don't know how, but it doesn't look like, you know, the vacuum pump didn't break. We do know that, and it doesn't look like it's out of time. That does look super milky right there. I don't understand. It's not clear the way oil should be. Even when it's dirty, you can still see through it, but this has like a white tinge to it. So, really weird what's going on with this. We took everything apart, of course, like we showed you in this video. We checked the timing on that cam. The 2D laser markings on the flat are actually lined up with the finger on the cam position reluctor wheel there. So, it's probably not out of time. We don't have any reason to suspect that it's actually messed up because the main failure is that vacuum pump breaking and then parts from that jamming that cam reluctor wheel, causing it to spin on the cam and, you know, breaking the computer's reference to the timing, and that's how everything gets messed up. Well, in this case, everything seems to be absolutely correct on the timing side in this engine. So, we're putting it back together, and we're waiting on parts for that because of course we have to replace the O-rings on top of those DI injectors. We probably don't have to, but we're obviously going to. So Those are on the way. They were hard to get. They had to be ordered, and also the valve cover gasket wasn't in stock anywhere either. So we've got those parts on the way. And then we'll pull these rags off that are keeping all the dirt, debris out of the head of this thing, and we'll throw everything back together real quick. And then we'll keep troubleshooting from there. I want to run a compression test next, maybe even a leak down, to see if there's something going on inside the actual cylinders. I've seen a bunch of comments where people were like, yeah, these things have cylinder scoring and cylinder wall issues all the time. And how? 60,000 mile engine. So at least now we know it's not timing, even though it really did sound like timing, kind of the way it cranks and the way it tried to fire and died. But it could have been, you know, low compression all along. So we'll start by running a compression test, then we'll add oil to the cylinders, run the compression test again, see if it runs. We're gonna go through all of that right after we get the valve cover back on. So, you know, we have to have the DI injectors. We basically have to put it all back together. That's like the one problem with it not being port injection. We can't keep troubleshooting with it all apart. So put it all back together, all new seals, and then we'll go from there. We'll keep troubleshooting till we get this thing running, and you know, maybe getting it running takes a new engine. Hopefully it doesn't, but we'll find out. So that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop WatchJRGo.com for cool shirts, not like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. I also don't love all this staining inside the valve cover at only 60,000 miles. It'd be a lot better if it all looked like that. That's how it should look, and for some reason it's like it's coked up with oil and baked on deposits already. And it's a new car. Oh well, we'll get her figured out. At least we got this thing going, and Eric pulled it outside and pressure washed the wheels, did a lot more cleaning on it. We still haven't gone through with the DA and really cleaned up its paint yet. And I called my windshield guy, and I haven't heard back from him yet either. So soon we'll have a plan figured out for the old Corvette here. For now, we've got plenty of other projects to work on.